Hello, Anne. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for taking some time today out of your busy schedule to talk with me. I really appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure.
Oh, well, thank you. So, I've been a big fan of Heart since the beginning. And the first time I saw you guys was back in the Woolman Skating Ring, believe it or not, at New York Central Park in '77.
Boy, that's a long time ago. I just remember that we worked real hard that year. We did something like 250 shows, and it was, yeah, we worked real hard.
So, today you're in the midst of your tour. So, I was curious how you came about deciding to do that on your own in terms of breaking out and doing these older, wonderful hits that you love and you grew up with.
We have been touring for years and years and years now, just again and again and again with the same songs and, pretty much. And I reached a point at the end of last year where I just said, I got to do something else here. I really got to do something else. And I wanted to go out and stretch out as a singer and just see what other notes I could hit. And so we started doing the Ann Wilson thing last year. And that was so much fun. I decided to put it on steroids and do it all this year.
Well, it's been fun seeing all the stuff come out on YouTube with your performances, and it's very surprising to see all the great songs like The Who and some of the Yes. It's great
Uh-huh.
to hear you do all that stuff. When you were in the '70s doing your own stuff, did you take a lot of time to listen to other artists?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, we were always going out to shows and seeing people live and, Deep Purple, Led Zeppelin, the Rolling Stones, Yes, The Who, all those people who were then young and in their heyday. We were always going out to see them and taking inspiration from them.
That's wonderful. So it has been a long in 40 years for your career, and that is for me, it sounds like it's a long time for someone's voice to stay so strong. Yours is just as beautiful today and powerful as it is when you started. What do you do to keep up that voice?
Well, I try to do songs in the right key. I don't do things like smoking, drinking, drugs, or anything like that are drying on somebody's throat. I mean, those types of activities are not friendly to singers. I don't do stuff like that. Other than that, I just try and be kind to my throat.
Do you have to do anything to warm up before you sing for a show?
Yeah, it's good to sing before you sing.
So is there a routine you go through and certain things you want to do and hit?
Oh, I just like to sing along with other people, sing along with somebody else's record, just so you're not doing the formal scales, but you're getting the same effect.
Nice. I heard in one of your interviews that you were interested in maybe doing voiceover work. Is that still true?
Yeah, uh-huh. Yeah.
Famous artists like Morgan Freeman, he's made a great impression on the world with his voice. Has anybody approached you? Have you done any work?
I haven't done any yet, but I have told my booking agent that I really want him to find me jobs doing that. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, all right. So I do a lot of video work with TV commercials and stuff, and I will certainly keep you in mind. And maybe I can talk to your booking agent.
Thank you.
That'd be really sweet, and be an honor to have you on some of our stuff. So I want to talk about your songwriting a little bit, if you wouldn't mind. How do you know you're doing something that you're on the right path? In other words, how do you continue to push through something even though you're not sure about it?
Well, you just have to leave your critic outside the door. And if you're going to truly write songs, just write the song and then throw it in front of the band and work it out. And if it lights up, then it lights up. If it doesn't, then you know you didn't hit it. But the minute you start trying to do songwriting with Mila, then you're way behind the curve already. I mean, you're just being a copier. So the hardest part of songwriting for me has always been trying to come up with something different. And how possible is that really when you think of it, to come up with something truly different at this point? Everything's been done.
Yeah, being unique must be difficult. So how do you test that? What do you do?
Well, you just keep trying, and your own performance has a lot to do with it, making it unique.
How do you prevent yourself from being a perfectionist then? You're making lyrics. How do you prevent yourself from saying, oh, that's not good enough, oh, that's not good enough, and just keep going?
Well, again, I think it's important to leave the critic outside the door and just go in an open way and just try and take your ideas and manifest them, And then the trick is knowing when to stop development, because some people can just develop things right into obscurity, past the point of where they're even alive.
Part of the process, you mentioned taking stuff to the band, is would you just, open up a little bit with your guitar or something and say, hey, what do you think? Or you just sort of play things in the background? How would you present that?
I would take it as far as I could and then take it into the band situation and say, this is the groove I want. These are the chords I have. These are the words I have. And it starts taking shape as a collaboration. But the song is written. It's just so impossible to describe what the process is like, because it's different every single time.
Oh, I imagine that was actually the case. I expect you to say that. No two songs can probably be developed the same, but I was curious in how that may have occurred for you. It's interesting you should mention this, because one of the things that was really enlightening is on the Strange Euphoria collection, where you showed the early demo of Magic Man, and it sounded more like, I think you said in the liner notes, it was like only a week after you had written it, and it's a very raw form and very, very, I call it basic, right? The whole instrumentation and arrangement hadn't developed. So did that happen on tour as you guys were doing live? How did that happen?
Magic Man happened in the studio. We never played it live before. It was Magic Man, Crazy on You, all the ones on Dreamboat Annie came in the studio.
Awesome. So, as you said before, it was this collaboration along with the producer to make that arrangement come to life.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nice. On the tour today, what are your favorite highlights here? What are you showing off that you think is a lot of fun for the audience to take part in?
We have a show that's 2 hours long with a little 10-minute break in the middle, and it's got a full video presentation for every song. And so what I like about the show is the totality of it. The experience of hearing the songs, being in the video presentation, is really working. People are just loving it.
And tell me about the small venues, right? You've been obviously in big stadium type things and big concert halls, and now these are small, more intimate settings for you.
Up to the end of October last year, we were doing this tour with Cheap Trick and Joan Jett and Hart, and it was all the 10, 15,000 seaters, and that was what it was. It was fine, but it just made me yearn to get a better connection with people and to actually go and be able to light up and be with people more. So I like the small places. I like the places where they actually know how to present a show in a really cool, personal way, which is what we're doing.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm looking forward to it. I know you're coming to Londonderry at the place called Tupelo Music Hall. It's they just opened up a brand new facility. It's supposed to be gorgeous. I haven't seen it yet, just in photos. So I'm hoping that it fits really well with, not for just you, but all the people who come through in there. And I'm looking forward to seeing that small connection that you can make with the audience.
Oh, great. Yeah.
I know you're a big fan of Led Zeppelin, and you did a beautiful job at the Kennedy Center with Stairway to Heaven. But I was curious how that came about. How were you tapped on the shoulder to go do that with Nancy?
I'm not sure what the process was for them deciding to ask us, probably because the word had gotten around that we do a lot of Zeppelin in our set sometimes with Hart, and that it's got integrity. But we just heard about it. I think it was around about the same time we were on tour. We were just touring away, banging away, and then we got this good news. And it really it came at the perfect time for us, because it was a bright light in our schedule.
It certainly was. So how did the arrangement of the song came about? It's pretty elaborate.
Yeah, well, there was a musical director on that show, and they had gone through it, and we had a couple of rehearsals the day before. And
oh, so this was all planned out ahead of time. You just basically came in and sang it, performed it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, we didn't change the. They actually did take a verse out just because it was going to be on TV. Yeah, it was a little bit long for TV, so they took one of the verses out. But that was the only change from the original. Very
interesting. I read your book, Kicking and Dreaming, which is a wonderful autobiography from you and your sister. And in there, it sounds like touring was a grind. And I'm sure it is and can be, depending on, how many cities and how often. But was it really worth it? I mean, were you able to translate those into sales?
You mean album sales?
I guess music sales back then would have been albums, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, back when albums were selling, definitely. And now, of course, it's all ticket sales. Yeah, I mean, the more people know you, the more, and if you do press things just right, and I mean, if you're good, then people are going to want to come see you and they're going to buy more tickets. So yeah, I think it does, but I think it's a trick to know when it's too much, you know. I mean, when you've overexposed yourself and it's not special anymore.
Interesting. So I get the same sense about the videos, right? It sounded like something that had to be done, but in the book you mentioned how that you guys had to foot the bill for all that stuff. And again, did you think there was a return on the investment that made it worthwhile? They were expensive to do.
Yeah, they sure were, and boring.
Well, that's why the question about the return on investment. I mean, since you guys had to pay for that, you sort of sit there and go, "Well, we're doing this because people are telling us," or how much control did you really have over all that?
Oh, well, back in the 80s, probably not that much, because it was a record company thing. The record company would fund it. They would get the whole production together financially, and then you would just present yourself to be shot. So it was really sort of, that was a grind.
But it came off the top line, right? They any profits that came in from your album sales went to pay that first, I suspect, right?
Right, yeah. Yeah, the artist is the last one to get paid on all that kind of stuff.
And again, thank you so much. I really enjoyed the time. I know you're busy and tickled to death that you've been able to give me some time today.
Well, thank you. I enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Have a great day.
Okay, you too.
Okay,
Bye.
bye-bye.